did they make you a CEO because you are an Indian top performer? There is no way that we will dilute the positioning by bringing in entry-level cars, lower-end cars, low-priced cars. We need to bring the right product at the right price. Today, to own a Mercedes-Benz, you need 5 to 8 lakh rupees and 60,000 rupees per monthly rental. And there are enough and more wealth in India to pay 60,000 rupees a month. I think as responsible brands, we should not push our agenda. We should wait for the market to evolve, and we should just be in the market with the right product and the services.
Hi guys, welcome to another exciting episode of Why Leadership Fails. I am your host Bhavna Lalchandani. In today's episode, our guest is about to take us on a thrilling ride into the world of automobiles. From conquering challenges to steering innovation, he has the keys to success in this dynamic industry. So are you guys ready to shift gears and zoom into the adventurous lanes of leadership with a true titan, a visionary, Mr. Santosh Iyer, Managing Director and CEO, Mercedes-Benz India Private Limited. Hi Santosh, welcome to Why Leadership Fails. It's an honor to have you here today.
Thanks Bhavna for having me here.
Awesome. So Santosh, starting with your earlier stints, right? You've donned multiple hats, being a marketing maverick to sales crusader, product champion, policy advocate, and customer evangelist. Which role did you enjoy the most? And which one do you think has really influenced your leadership approach?
Well, I started my career with sales as a hardcore sales guys, but later on in my career when I donned the marketing hat, I think that gave me a lot of insights. And if you have to ask me it's a combination of things I learned in sales, but more so for me a profound impact of marketing, the years I spent in analyzing consumer behavior and people in general actually helped me a lot. So I would still say marketing fascinates me a lot.
Awesome. And in terms of the leadership approach, and how do you think that has evolved for you?
Well, you're a lot of people say, how are you managing the position of an MD and CEO? You are a board member. What happens? But you are not born as a board member. You are groomed over a period of time. You reach that position. So it's not overnight, and you have worked through it, through the system, through the different people and the ecosystem to grow in the corporate ladder. So I think it grows on you. If you see specifically when I talk about leadership, first is about managing people. That is the first level. The second is managing managers. Yes. And I think the third is managing real leaders. So as you grow, and all three are different, because sometimes leadership is constituted as, of course, all of them are to manage people, but at different levels, managing different complexities and aspirations, because you have much more alpha male syndrome as you grow up, men and women both. They all want to be successful. How do you manage such a strong team? I think these are things that you also develop skill sets as you move along the corporate ladder.
Sure. So now that you're in the hot seat, right? You're the managing director and CEO of Mercedes-Benz. In fact, the first ever Indian to hold that position. First of all, congratulations. Aapne Bharat ka naam roshan kar diya. So great, kudos to that. People would have asked you, how did you feel? But I want to really know your deepest emotion, that tsunami of emotions that you felt. आपके जहन में क्या चल रहा था, when you got appointed? आपकी family ने कैसे react किया?
I was with my dealers on a dealer trip, not in India, outside, and it was noon. I remember I got a call from the top boss in Germany saying, hello Santosh, I know you are with your dealers, but very short one, you are appointed as the MD and CEO for Mercedes-Benz India. So I said, this is a prank call, maybe, let me see. And then I saw my boss's name. I said, no, it's not a prank call. I said, Matthias, are you sure? He said, Santosh, yeah, we have taken a board decision. Wow. I think you will be there as such. So I think it was a great moment for me. Of course, the first thing I called my wife and informed her. And then, of course, I had to keep it secretive because, it was not publicly announced. So I had to, and there was a 6 months gap till the time we go to the market and actually announce. So now to keep it within yourself, maybe just the close confide knowing. I also walked up to Martin, who was the CEO that time in India, and we both had a smile because we were our own dealer partners around us. But I think after that, emotions was also a sense of big responsibility because I have grown in this company. You know, I joined in 2009. We were a small setup selling 2,800 cars till reaching close to 19,000 cars now. Come a long way when it comes to revenues, people, also the size of the organization, and also our partners and the network. So I think for me, there was a sense of responsibility. It's also a bit challenging. You know, a lot of people you have hired now in this company. You know a lot of people, their families, their background, and you know a lot on the personal side.
Yeah.
You also know a bit too much on the professional side. So now, you know, in a chair where you have to evaluate and run with this team, it's an asset on one side, but also there's a lot of, as I said, a feeling of responsibility and a bit of, you know too much kind of a thing. So sometimes you have to pull yourself back and say that no, let me evaluate it completely from a neutral perspective and not that, because most of the jobs in the sales and marketing organization at least I have done. So I need to ensure I don't have the been there, done that hat, and listen to the new ideas, new thoughts. And as I say, you know, a leader has to be a good creator and a destroyer both. So I created a lot of things, but I encourage my team to destroy and create new things.
Learn and unlearn.
Exactly. And that's, I think, also a process that you have to be accustomed. So I think it was great, wow feeling. But I think... you know, I also tell a lot of people, they say that, did they make you a CEO because you are an Indian top performer? I said, you know, we are a multinational organizations, and I have more than 100 colleagues from MB India working in Stuttgart, Singapore, Malaysia. So, and if they would never have gone outside of India, if the nationality was the core issue. I think we are a very meritocracy organization. Talent is seen, groomed in this company, and I think that's a great asset, and that's why you feel proud to work for this organization. So it's not just because, of course, it's an advantage to know about India, but even if you look at my predecessors, the earlier MD and CEOs who were Germans, they did a great job. I think the job of a leader is not to do yourself, but if you have a great team and trust them, you can deliver results in any market, as complex as India as well.
Sure. So, but did you have like butterflies in the stomach as well, apart from that, you know, accomplishment and that feeling of pride?
You know, I never planned for it in that sense. You know, it all came in. I still remember, you know, my corner office in our factory. 10 years back, I was standing outside there, and so the EA to the then MD actually asked me, Santosh, are you waiting for MD to come in? I said, no, I'm just taking a look how the office looks like someday. But that was a joke. To be very honest, I never planned for it. Neither it was just a casual, quick one-liner, you know. And then, you know, on 1st of Jan 2023, when you know, I was getting into that same office, those feelings came back, saying, wow, this is something. You know, there's another trivia. You know, when you become an MD, you get an S-Class, the best car in the world as such. So, and on 1st of Jan, I got the car, of course. But more importantly, 97, my first job was with a company called Avery. And when I left this company, you know, it's a British multinational that time. So the GM, in a personal letter, wrote me a letter saying, dear Santosh, very sorry to see you leaving, but knowing your performance, one day you will be back driving a Mercedes-Benz S500 SCL. So I have that letter of 97, which says, and then it was like prophecy coming true after say 24 years. Now I got my S-Class finally. So a lot of nostalgia with all these things, but I think it has been a journey, a memorable journey, thanks to a lot of well-wishers around me as well. Also I was fortunate to get very good mentors, good leaders who really groomed my career and really shaped my decision making and my leadership styles as well.
What an innings, truly. So Santosh, after you got appointed as a managing director and CEO, what is that one change in business strategy and also change in work culture that you actually inculcated, which you are proud of?
You know, my strategy or my basic principle is I start from trust before being proven the other way around.
Oh, yes.
For me, this has worked very well. So when I took over the new job also, I think the team was there. It's the same team I have grown up with. And I think I had a new colleague, couple of new colleagues who came. The head of sales is from New Zealand actually. He came to India first time and he took over my job, which I was doing in the past. So for me, it was to support him in his transition to that role. It was also to now the expectations were also huge. Santosh is there now, something more should happen. So I had to actually bring and calibrate the expectations as well, that it's an ongoing concern. We have to do the right thing for the company.
Sure.
And for me, the simple mantra is, let Mercedes be Mercedes. You should not change the DNA of the brand just by changing leadership.
Yeah.
Our responsibility is to make the three-pointed star shine. We need every day, and we need to live true to the brand. So how do we bring your personal leadership style without compromising on the DNA of the brand, take the company to the next level in terms of our ambitions in India. Incidentally, this is the 30 year of us being in India now.
Wow.
A long journey.
3 decades.
I keep 3 decades, and I say that it's called strategic patience. We have all been saying India will be there. मैं बोलते रहता हूँ, we were taught about this poem in school saying हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. अब वो एक दिन कब आएगा? We are all struggling. But I think this is the time. I think there cannot be a better place. For 30 years we have been in India now. The market is growing. The consumer aspirations are changing.
Yeah.
And to lead this such a desirable brand in the country, I think this cannot be a better moment for me as well. So yes, I start with trust. As I said, from the leadership perspective, it has only paid me back rich dividends. And before I make any change, I generally give it a thought. Why was this policy made in the first place? Maybe there was some wisdom that time. So don't change for the sake of changing it. Let's go more deeper and then try to see. I think it's been a great ride. Now it's almost 18 months now. I have been in this new job. Time flies. And it's history now that I became the MD and CEO. But I think things are a long way to go for sure.
There was so much to learn from this, the way you implemented work culture, after you joined as a MD and CEO. So Santosh, let's talk about the real deal, the failures. What are the setback or challenge, or maybe a significant setback, some instance that you actually encountered, and how did you really steer through it?
I think it was quite early in my career. I was on a high. I went to Nepal. I started a business there. I was doing extremely well, and then I did some new project. Did extremely well.
Your entrepreneurship stint. Oh wow!
And then at some point, me and my so-called partner with whom I was working, we thought, why don't we now produce a new three-wheeler maybe in this market? And this is something that I said, yeah, that's fine, because we were on a high me personally as well. And then we went about, we created a three-wheeler to be sold. It was a gas-powered three-wheeler for Nepal. And, selling was not a problem. It was sold out and bookings were there. But then we had a lot of issues with the product by itself. And then, of course, we had a lot of losses as well with this entire stuff. And at some point when I reflected immediately, and the good part is I reflected quickly, and why it didn't work. For me, I think it's more important to be on the ground when you are on a high than otherwise as such, because sometimes you get carried away, and you need to, be it on the people side, that did I take all the right, did I listen to people, because do you have the right competency to do the product development as such. And the biggest learning is play on your strengths as well, because my strength was sales, marketing, business management and stuff, and then to now go into manufacturing and product development, which is completely being a non-engineer, to play in that role. I think it was completely not there. So I think at an early stage in life, I learnt a lot. I reflected and learnt, and then I said, failures are just around the corner. So if you're not careful, so one needs to not just be on the high and always be grounded.
Oh, great. That was, definitely a very deep insight with respect to failures. And I think, yes, being grounded and more so introspection is something which is very important. Great. So with this, hum honge kamyab ek din. What do you think, when will India, or do you envision India becoming a developed market for Mercedes-Benz?
See, India has all the right ingredients. When I say ingredients, first is demographics. If you see a very young population, now also a lot of aspirations among this population. Yes. The second is, if I look at the infrastructure, this is one thing that people used to say, I can buy a luxury car, where do I drive it? Of course, in Bombay and some cities, it's challenging. But when you go now, I just came from Pune, the Atal Setu, for example. It's lovely drive. You can enjoy the drive as well. So I think with changing infrastructure, younger landscape, more women buyers coming into the segment, I think, and of course, the economic development happening in India, I think this is all the right recipe for growth. Should we be now so passionate that we go after volumes? And I hold back my sales team saying no. because we have a responsibility. We are the most desirable brand in India. We need to ensure we are accessible, at the same time exclusive. So there is no way that we will dilute the positioning by bringing in entry level cars, lower end cars, low priced cars. We need to bring the right product at the right price, and this we are extremely cautious. So we have patiently waited for 30 years. We will wait for the luxury car market to develop, but I am pretty confident with this changing demographics, with the changing economic structure. I think now the pace of growth will be much faster than what we have seen in so many years.
Sure. And it's already evolving. So, with the consumer spending habits evolving, and more so, the shift in mindset, which is carpe diem, seize the day, kal ho na ho, aaj ka maza le lo, that kind of a mindset. So what's your take on it, and how are you really catering to the youth audience today?
See, I was in a bit of controversy last year when I quoted saying that, people save a lot as such. And if you see, and this was a corollary to the mutual fund industry, and the entire industry came after me saying, hey, why are you saying this? But I think today to own a Mercedes-Benz, you need 5 to 8 lakh rupees and 60,000 rupees per monthly rental. And there are enough and more wealth in India to pay 60,000 rupees a month. Then the argument comes, it's a depreciating asset. Of course, luxury goods are not always appreciating, and you have to live for yourself. The second argument comes, I need to save. Maybe why should I pay the interest? Rather, I grow the money in a growing stock market which is booming in India, or invest in gold and other asset classes. So I think we are a very saving oriented economy and thinking because of an uncertain future. We have been brought up in that culture. But now this new India, the younger generation, they want to also enjoy. Firstly, they have a much better, at least in metro cities, there is a much bigger umbrella of parents. They have taken care of the housing, they have taken care of some of the basic needs. And now the second generation which is coming in the metro cities, they have more disposable income. They want to enjoy the finer things in life. Kal ho na ho, as you rightly said. So I think this is changing, but this is not going to be like a switch where it changes overnight and the luxury penetration will increase. You see high streets. We travel in airports. You don't see the kind of luxury brands seen in an airport in a Bombay or a Delhi. But even if I travel to smaller airports in Europe, you will find all those luxury brands there. Also, it's a high taxation market in India. And there is a reason why the government taxes cars, because the direct tax revenue is so less that they have to depend on indirect revenue. So indirect taxes. So all of this won't change. And therefore, in this market, I think if we do the right things with the right products, we have the right financial products, we wait for the demographic dividends to change. A young corporate India coming and emerging. Today, only 15% of our buyers are from corporate India.
Oh, okay.
The balance are all businessmen, professionals, etc. So the salary, it is hardly 14-15%. This will grow over a period of time. Hopefully, corporate India earnings are great. They will also not distribute, but also share wealth. And the war for talent increases, and people are paid more. And then they definitely will drive better cars and enjoy the right. So this is a matter of time. And I am a strong believer that if you are patient enough, wait for the right inflection point, we should see a much higher rate of growth in the luxury.
And what's the percentage of millionaires who are actually today buying luxury cars?
Wow, in India it's hardly 3 to 4%. Compared to China at 90%, you can say. So therefore, that's where everybody keeps challenging. There is so much wealth. If you go by the latest report, the top 2 billionaires in India, we have more cities of billionaires as equal as China. But I keep saying China and India are different animals. It's not right to compare. They are completely different countries. Their demographics are different. The culture is different. The consumption patterns are different. So the only thing common is maybe the population that we both, both the countries have. So I think it's a lot of on one side economic development of the country. Second is also the way the cultural acceptance to luxury and consumption of luxury has to be there, and of course prioritization. Till today house is still prioritized over the other asset classes to start with, and then once you have a house you need a second house and a third house. The other thing in India, if you look at the consumption, is also weddings. There is a lot of savings done for a wedding and also for so these are cultural issues which won't change. It's good because that's how we enjoy life in India. So I think as responsible brands, we should not push our agenda. We should wait for the market to evolve, and we should just be in the market with the right product and the services.
Which is gradually transitioning anyways, right?
Exactly,
as you said.
Exactly.
Great. So you've been a customer evangelist yourself, and of course customer experience is paramount. So how do you and your teams, prioritize delivering exceptional experiences, tailor tailor-made experiences, specifically with the expectations of customers growing in today's time?
See, the first thing is we said that we cannot do the conventional retailing model in India for cars. You know, the traditional automotive industry works on a model where the OEM pushes the car to the dealer will then push the car to the customer. तो बोलेगा sir ये red car ले लो madam यही red car, because he has that red car in the stock. Also then there is discount haggling. So a customer goes to dealer A, dealer B, and then they start negotiating discount. So the entire narrative of experience is gone because you are selling on lies, selling on push, selling on discounts. What we did is we 2 years back now, almost 3 years, we changed our business model. We call it retail of the future, wherein we sell the car directly to the end consumer, and the dealer has become an agent now. So what has happened is he's not carrying stock is mine. So I give full transparency of all India cars to the customer. There is no discount negotiation because the price is fixed. He can buy online, offline. There is no issue. And now if you are in Bombay and you want to now buy a car between two dealers, the only reason why I should buy from A and not from B is experience. Who gives me a better service? Who gives me a better experience? Also, the business model was flawed because, you know, generally you don't make money in sales in automotive. You make money in service. So then the customers end up cribbing saying, hey, this dealer is ripping me off on service. My parts are expensive. So we said, let's transform it. We came up with this new business model. And I am happy to say that we have done more than 40,000 cars, Mercedes-Benz cars under this new direct-to-consumer initiative.
Wow.
15% of my sales are online. So I do a true omni-channel experience. Our CSI scores are on the top, and that's the reason we are the most desirable brand in India as well. So, you know, we went further. Today, this model is now in Germany. It's there in UK. It's there in Australia. So there are many markets which have now adopted the same selling model, and we were one of the pioneers when we started the business model in 2021.
No, this retail of the future certainly sounds as a very, interesting strategic initiative. So great thought on that.
Yeah, no, apart from this, all the other things like sending customers for a nice driving experience to speed, and all this is, I think, as I say, they are ice cream on top of dal chawal. You know, first you have to get the basics right when it comes to customer experience, and then you do all this nice to have foreign trips to meeting, Lewis Hamilton, going for Formula One. But if you don't have these basics and you only try to make these things, I think that doesn't work.
Sure. And Santosh, talking about how customers are paramount, to our business and very integral part. So now it's time, to move to our next segment, which is called Janta Unfiltered, where we get the audience voice into our conversation.
Wow, you would love it.
So we've got some queries for you, and we have one question that I'm going to read to you.
Yeah.
It is from Aman Kapoor, based out of Delhi, and he says, "Boss, running the show at Mercedes-Benz India must be some crazy shit. How many hours do you work in a week? How do you handle the hustle of work and life, yaar? Kuch jugaad batao hame to balance work and also have some chill in life."
It's quite simple. I will not get into number of hours because that's always a controversial thing. Firstly, I am a big believer that you should love your work to start with. You should be passionate about your work. The moment you are passionate about the work and you love your work, that's life any which way.
Yeah.
So, then this, if you are thinking of family as life, then they are well integrated. My family would love me to enjoy what I do, and I would do everything to ensure that they are enjoying the life and the time, and we have our own time together as well. But if you start distinguishing and saying that, I have to now go 9 to 5, this is work, now I switch off, now I run to home, now this is my life, then you are not enjoying your work.
Yeah.
I would advise to those guys to find a suitable job for themselves where they start enjoying work. Because if you enjoy what you do, then it's not work. Because then you are, so for me, I think working hard is not an option. You have to work hard in life. You have to enjoy what you do, and when you work hard and enjoy what you do, I think the results are great. And so for anyone who is frustrated with work-life balance, they need to look at either the work side to say, am I enjoying what am I doing? Because if you do that, you will not be frustrated. Then you are not counting hours, you are not counting your enjoyment by the number of time that you are spending in office or offline. We have also, one of the cultural change that we bought thanks to COVID, I can say to some extent, is the hybrid culture of working. When we shifted, it was because of force, because you had to, there was no option. But then the world over, if you see automotive companies, most of them have come to full day working in our back to offices. But we still maintain a hybrid environment. You can work from home and office. There are certain days that you can have to come to office. But I think that's also important for catching up with colleagues and walking up with a coffee and developing that interpersonal relationship. But on the balanced days, you can work from home. This is again trust. Now, if there is no swiping in our business, at least for our staff, we are quite transparent, and this, I think, is also a way to balance things, what we do. What I observed is now the number of leaves that people used to take in the past to now has come down significantly, because now for going for that PTM or for going for the dentist appointment, I just don't need to take a leave. I can maybe balance work in that sense. So I think we have to be empathetic. We have to understand, and personally, one has to enjoy. So to your viewer who asked this question, enjoy what you is doing, and then there will be no stress. Bindas.
Sure. Thank you so much, Santosh, for answering that. Thank you, Aman, for asking that question. I hope we've been able to address the query. So live bindas, enjoy what you do, and you'll have chill in life. All right, Santosh. So with this, it's time to hit the accelerator now. And we move to our next segment, which is called the 60-second spin. It's all about quick questions, snappy answers, and loads of fun.
Okay.
So are you ready to come along for a spin with me?
Yeah, we'll try.
Let's begin. Your first Mercedes-Benz car, and what was your feeling while owning it?
It was a C-Class. I got it in this company itself, and the moment I got delivery of this car in my office and I went home, I couldn't stop people glaring, when I'm going around with my family as such. But yeah, it was way back in 2012 when I got this car, 2011 end or 12 if I remember, yeah. And you could see, but today, it's become part of life. I've been now driving the car, but the first one is always special.
You had that glaze, Santosh Babu, nayi car.
Neighbors, friends, everyone, for sure.
All right. If you were a Mercedes-Benz model yourself, which one would you be?
I love the C63 AMG, the C-Class. I feel it's like the squirrel on steroids. Though I'm tall, I'm not like a squirrel, but I still feel I'm always on steroids. I like to keep pushing, and it's an AMG DNA that I have. So, yeah.
Super. A message for today's Gen Z aspiring for a career in automobile industry.
No quick fix, work hard.
Your favorite brand of car besides Mercedes-Benz?
I drove a Fiat Palio 1.6 in my initial...
Back in the days.
I think I still love that car for two reasons. One, Ferrari, I love the brand as well as the cars. But on the other hand, it had Michael Schumacher featuring in the commercial there. So I'm a big fan of Formula 1 and Michael Schumacher himself. So the 1.6 Palio Sport holds a special place.
Which one is more important for a business plan, strategy or execution?
Execution, no doubt.
Weirdest driving superstition you've ever heard of?
Oh, traditional Billy.
Your leadership style?
Hands on.
If you could have any celebrity as your co-passenger on a road trip, who would it be and where would you go?
Toto Wolff, and I can go as long as he's with me. I just love his leadership style as well.
Okay. Traditional media or digital and social media?
I will land up into a controversy here, but traditional still.
All right, with that, awesome. With that, it's the end of 60-second spin, and you scored 9 out of 10. So good job on that.
Thank you.
But there's no hamper, unfortunately.
I was expecting, but it's fine.
So did you have fun and get that adrenaline pumping?
Yeah, very much actually. I was a bit under stress. You put me in the hot seat, but I think
you're already
fine.
in the hot seat. All right, great, Santosh. So, with that, we move to our concluding note and the last segment, which is called Expert Edge, where I would like you to share one quick thought on why leadership fails and one mantra for being an effective leader.
Well, there is a old saying. It says that if you want to, reach a destination, you can go fast. But if you want to go far, take people along.
Yeah.
In my experience, over 25 years, I have seen that the core of success for a leader is to take people along. And that's by different ways. One is you need to trust them. You have to be empathetic. You need to have the right communication and be purposeful in taking them. So most of the time, it's the quest of running fast. Leaders realize that they are alone at some point of time when they move in. I think that's something for me, one has to be conscious on what you do. And your second question was
one mantra for being an effective leader.
One mantra, I still feel that that trust is a big factor. The people you cannot imagine the amount of passion and what people can give you back, your teams can give you back if you trust them. So we generally underestimate what they can do for you.
Sure.
So if you really trust your guys and they feel that, I think results are given. And I think the people also end up doing it not just for the company and the brand, but also for the leader.
Sure. Thank you so much, Santosh, for your valuable time today. And, I cannot explain the kind of learnings that we are going to take home. Thanks for sharing your expertise and experiences with us. It truly has been a meaningful conversation.
I'd be glad if it is of help to any of the listeners and the young
Absolutely.
generation hearing out there. But thanks for having me, Bhavna. It was really nice to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to the audience for staying with us. I hope you enjoyed this conversation and are as inspired as I am. Well, as we put the brakes on today's episode, remember to keep your vision clear, your ambitions in overdrive, and your passion fueled to transform your dream into reality. If you resonated with this conversation, hit the like button, share it with your network, and drop a comment with your best takeaway from today's episode, or simply just say a hi. We love hearing from you. Stay tuned for more such captivating conversations. Until then, all you leaders out there, keep slaying, keep inspiring, and continue leading the way. This is me, Bhavna Lalchandani, signing off.